And so countries such as Italy, which has an aging population, does not have the same welfare networks that Western Europe has, closes a blind eye as these women come in mass. I mean, in the mid-90s, masses of Ukrainian women have entered into Italy, and they're mostly performing caring labor to the elderly. The reality is that many of these women are undocumented, or they're on 2-year visas that have to be continually renewed, and they are floating in and out of documented status. So you have sort of official numbers that the Italian state collects of women Ukrainians who are registered as workers, and those numbers hover somewhere around 600,000 to 700,000. But then when you talk to community organizers on the ground, numbers range anywhere from 1 million to 3 million if you're thinking about including the undocumented population. And those numbers also get manipulated politically depending on what kind of message you want to send. So I have all those numbers like all teased out in the book to try and be as fair as possible about how to document what those numbers mean. The migrants in Italy were mostly from Western Ukraine, which is why I chose to go to Lviv as my site in Ukraine. But there were also women from Eastern Ukraine as well. In the U.S. context, it is more diffuse, and the U.S. context simply looks differently because there's a large what folks call Russian-speaking community, right? Folks from all over the former Soviet Union, not only Ukraine. Ukraine is really just in Italian contexts. There's a real concentration of Ukrainians with some Moldovans, but really Ukrainians. So some of the differences between these two groups is in the U.S. context, U.S. immigration law allowed folks to bring their families with them. They were often bringing adult children and grandchildren with them. Into San Francisco. So they're still doing the same caring labor, but they mostly were doing live-out work as opposed to live-in work. And they were also engaged in Ukrainian nation-state building.